Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today, before we get started, I just want to apologize. I have been very under the weather, so if I sound a little bit weird, that is why. But I couldn't pass up on this review. I've been working very hard on this review, so I wanted to give it to you all anyways. So just ignore if my voice cracks or something, and I hope you enjoy the video. Dead Island 2 has been in the back of our minds since 2014. Granted, it's disappeared off the face of the earth for years after that, but we'd hear from it again a time or two to keep us wondering what the hell was going on. Is it canceled? Is it not canceled? Come on, be real with us. They kept saying it wasn't canceled, so I had my doubts, but it is 2023 now, and bubs, there's no wondering anymore because Dead Island 2 has been out for about a month, and as worried as I was about the game, I am both shocked and absolutely disappointed. I wasn't expecting anything groundbreaking, but I at least wanted to end the game satisfied, and I wasn't. Sure, they gave us somewhat of a competent sequel, but to be short and to the point, as long as this game took to release, Dead Island 2 feels undercooked. If you've watched my other game reviews, I have made some changes since then where I will be doing full-blown spoiler reviews. I find more fun talking about the things I like and dislike in detail, instead of giving bland opinions without explanation. In my reviews, I will be discussing the story, the gameplay, and my final thoughts. And before we get started, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of my videos in the future. Now let's go to hella bubs and discuss why Dead Island 2 broke me.
Can I get a selfie?
Dead Island 2 is set 15 years after the events of the first Dead Island. The United States government and military have been forced to put Los Angeles under a full quarantine restricted zone due to a new and stronger zombie outbreak. You were one of several different survivors in Dead Island 2, and as you're trying to get the hell out of Dodge, your plane crashes and says, "Hey, Freak Show! We're going nowhere!" As you're trying to find safety, your luck runs out and you get bitten by an infected. But don't worry about that because you are actually immune to the virus and you can't turn. Well, sort of can't. Thank God for you. You dodged a bullet for sure. Your sole purpose of being in Dead Island 2 is getting out alive and hoping a vaccine can be made to get the nightmare over with, and helping some friends out along the way. It's very straightforward and to the point, and it does nothing new. It almost feels like the original Dead Island story mixed with Dying Light 2. I'm not saying that's a bad thing because the story isn't what I was excited for with the game to begin with. I will say I'm glad it doesn't completely suck ass, but it doesn't take any risks or do anything new to the formula. That's okay for what it was, I liked it. The best part of the story wasn't the narrative exactly, but the interactions with the characters.
Sorry, zombie. Party's over.
I'm no zombie, friend.
Is it the pizza?
Most of these characters are wacky, stereotypical archetypes that are fun to talk to. I really love talking with these people and listening to how crazy they are. I don't care about dramatic storytelling in all of my games. Sometimes I need a little cheese with my games, and Dead Island 2 gave us just that.
Hey!
The narrative explaining the significance of you being immune is pretty fun, but it was basically a rehash of Dying Light 2 I explained a second ago. You are kind of a zombie, but not, and can lose control at times. It's a cool feature to have, but it's again nothing new. I can't even remember what the term is called for why you're immune in the first place.
Ruben calls us Newman.
Oh yeah, that's it. The ending to this game sucked ass. I hated the ending to this game. The arena area with the zombies were cool around the main boss, but Dr. Ruben wasn't anything we haven't seen before. I literally fought two different types of those zombies an hour or two before, so nothing about the final boss shocked me. More than anything, it pissed me off, but I'll get into that later. Once we defeat Ruben, we're at the end of the game, and just before the fight, the doctor explained that his daughter was the key to the vaccine, and the game ends at a damn cliffhanger.
What?
You're telling me I spent $70 on a game that doesn't even have a true ending in the base game, but instead forces us to buy DLC to get an actual conclusion? Screw that, bub. I'm not doing that. If you end your game on a cliffhanger and you're wanting me to buy DLC to complete the narrative you created, you should at least do something a little different than the other games we've seen, and Dead Island 2 has done nothing of the sorts. Dead Island 2's story might not be the best, and I know you want me to say the gameplay is where Dead Island 2 stands out. Yes, That is true to a point, but it's not the gameplay as a whole. It's more the technical details with the gore that sparks the enjoyment. I'll get into that in a bit. Like I said, it's not the story that keeps us playing Dead Island or now Dead Island 2, but the fun gameplay. You were thrown into LA and it's your playground to kill the undead in any way, shape, or form. The city is split up into different sections instead of being in an open world, and I feel I'm okay with that. I don't think it's necessarily a problem. The problems I find with it being more linear is it feels smaller. There are larger maps in the game and I love those. Beverly Hills, Santa Monica, and the Pier sections are by far my favorite. But even with those, I feel there isn't as much exploration involved, unlike the first Dead Island. I just did what I had to do in the main quest and explored a few side quests here and there, but nothing made me want to explore, and that's a problem. I don't necessarily think it's because it's not an open world, I just think it felt rather empty in the level design. The combat is almost copy and paste with the first Dead Island also, and that's fine. You want to experiment with your weapons and have fun with those elements, but all you do is swing. The gunplay is god-awful, which I didn't expect it to be anything crazy anyways, and some of the abilities they put into combat, it was pretty fun, but nothing special. Let's get into the highlight of the gameplay though, and that's the gore system put in place. The gore is fantastic, and it encouraged me to just keep hitting after hitting after hitting. I almost wanted to avoid the story altogether and just mess around and have fun. The gore system they created for the game is something I would like to see implemented in future games. I think it's a pretty awesome achievement and should be praised on that aspect. My biggest issue with this game is balancing issues. Others may not agree, but I'd like to think I'm a good gamer. I've played games my whole life, I enjoy a good challenge to a certain extent, but this game was unnecessarily difficult. From start to finish, I feel I died over 100 times, and I hated that. I'm not kidding when I say this, I had an easier time playing Bloodborne than this game, and it pisses me off. I spent half of the game trying to convince myself that this game is fun and I'm overthinking this, but it got to the point where I couldn't take the shit anymore. I only got mad to the point of putting the controller down when I played Bloodborne style games, and this game made me put it down a handful of times. I strategized and planned how I would defeat the hordes of zombies, but everything I did led to my death. I would end up getting caught on something I couldn't break away from and simply just get hit a couple of times and die. It pissed me off to no end, and that's not the type of game I wanted in Dead Island 2. Maybe it was my fault in seeing the marketing differently, but when I saw the trailers and screenshots, I pictured a game where I can run around and just kill zombies and have fun. I wasn't expecting a ridiculous difficulty curve that can't be adjusted. You all can say all you want that I should just get good, but I'm sure I'm not the only one that was irritated by it. I got so irritated with it, mixed with the shitty ending, that I instantly deleted the game after I completed the main story. Let's finish off with some final thoughts. Dead Island 2 isn't the worst game in the world, but it's definitely not as good as others are saying. Most people are saying it's one of those games you can play and stop forever, and I feel that way too, except much worse. This game is not worth $70, and it's definitely not worth buying DLC to get a finished product. I know companies do this with their games, but this one left such a bad taste in my mouth, I in no way, shape, or form felt any sort of conclusion at the end of Dead Island 2. I literally sat there and looked at my wife in shock that they did this. It was a slap in the face to fans, and they should be ashamed to even release a game like that. It's like they knew this game wasn't going to succeed, so they purposely put the ending of the game in a DLC to make a little more money. And that's shady as hell. The gameplay was bland and, to say the least, a pain in my ass. I think it's worth trying out for yourself, but on sale. If this game was $40, I would buy it, but I would not buy it full price. I'm sorry to disappoint the ones that love the game, but I can't lie and overhype a kind of shit game. I give Dead Island 2 a 2 out of 5 stars. Have you played Dead Island 2? Do you agree with what I have to say? Let me know down in the comments down below how you feel of the game and what you'd rate it. As I said before, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. And until next time, take it easy, bubs.